banger? Hell yeah.
Classes in session, this is the show where knowledge is profit, just so you know. Army Piper, OC Guy, and Trade Fly, bringing crypto news to the whole alumni. It's the word on the market, the one-stop shop for the info you need every time that it drops. The go-to show that you need right now. This is Piper Academy, it's all going down, let's go.
Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, and welcome to the home of the Season 4 Trade Wars champions and runner-up right here on Piper Academy. Shout out to those guys. Guys, we've got a lot of news to look at today. We got the Ethereum ETF flipping from a 10% chance now to a 75% chance. It's just incredible what's going on with that. We're going to be looking at Ethereum today, looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin right now holding just above 70,000, fighting for 71K. Ethereum pushing up on $3,800. We also got a big bill that came out, approved yesterday by the House, still needs to go to the Senate. Guys, we're going to be looking at that bill and seeing what exactly it says also. All that and more today on Piper Academy. Guys, let's get it. Classes in session. Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Piper Academy. I am Army Piper. We come at you every morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys all this alpha that you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. I am waiting on the champ to get in here. The champ is running a little bit behind this morning. Evidently, he drank too much champagne out of his champion cup last night, but that's what winners do. But I do have the second best thing. The second best thing to that would be the second place winner in Trade Wars yesterday. OC Guy, what is up, man? How you doing, bro?
I'm doing fantastic. I mean, it was pretty fun yesterday. I mean, I just need to shout out Trade Flight. He was grinding every single day. I mean, since he got third, I mean, it was the third episode. We went on the hot seat, both of us, and he went onto the redemption bracket. Every single week, he went twice and battled it, right? So He absolutely showed, I mean, his skills. He went through every single player. I mean, that was fantastic. So shout out to my brother, Treadflight. In other words, I don't like losing, but that's on me.
Yeah, but you may have lost the first place to Tradefly, but you won second place to Jenna X, Alex O Crypto, my brother in crypto over there. Magic Internet Money, Bullish, come on, Crypto Blood. You guys took out some big traders in the space. So, you have nothing to be ashamed of, man. Everybody in the chat right now, shout out to all of you. But if you guys see Rayanne Shipley in there, that is my niece dropping in to say hello. So, hi, Ryan. If you guys want to give her a shout there in the chat, make her feel special, because she's a lovely girl. I love her to death. Let's go ahead and bring on, I think the champion has entered the building. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2024 Season 4 champion of Trade Wars, it's Tradefly. What's up, bro? Oh, he's got a belt. You're killing it, bro. You're killing it. Jesus. You're muted. You're muted. Your trading skills are amazing. Your tech skills need some work, bro.
There it is. Am I up?
You're up.
Well, I just like to say that I wake up in the morning and I piss excellence. So that and Macho Man,
The cream of the crop! Nobody does it better.
he's got something to say about it.
God.
No.
All right. We gotta get into the show today. But Tradefly, I already gave all the accolades about you. Congrats. You fought your way back from the bottom, took out 3 people in 1v1s, came back to win the entire competition. So you and OC, I have nothing but pride for the two of you being on this team and taking first and second place on that Season 4 Trade Wars, man. So you crushed it, bro.
Yeah, it was cool. I really appreciate the opportunity, and it was super cool having me and OC in the finals. I think that's pretty big for the show, and kind of shows you guys we might know a little something. So we definitely took out some big names, man, and that's pretty cool. So does a lot. But yeah, happy to be here.
FD White said His Excellence has entered the building. So
Yeah, this title's
Hey man,
kind
you
of
have
weighing
to
me
show
down here,
that to
man.
CryptoFace. He shout out for you on the live chat, and also I believe before right on his show. I believe so, right?
yeah,
I mean,
he's got
there was a short for sure.
It was a short, yep. All right, let's jump over. Let's get the news
Oh,
going and get it because we got a lot of articles that I want to unravel today. My brain has been fried from all of the news that I've been trying to take in, aggregate, analyze, and get the so what from. So let's break it all out for everybody. But shout out to everybody in the chat right now. Glad to have you all here. Let's get over into the news, though, guys. Looking at the news, we're at extreme greed. Shocker. We are at 76. We have broken that 75 fear and greed cusp and broke into extreme greed now. Also moving over into the crypto bubbles. Let's give it a little refresh and see what the crypto bubbles are saying here. Because look, guys, we're green on everything again. The hourly is green, the daily is green, the weekly is green, the monthly, the yearly. Like it's beautiful. Let's just focus on the day though. Arweave down 6.7%, Gala down 5.8%. They had a little hack issue, so that's why Gala's down. Arweave, not sure why. Crux, if you know why Arweave is down today, let me know. And then we're going to jump into the bottom down here. Let's see what's moved. Ethereum still sitting at number 2, has not flipped dominance. Probably not going to happen this year. Dogecoin up 1 spot there. We've got Avalanche up 1 spot, Polkadot up 1 spot. So a lot of stuff moving there yesterday to the upside. Pepe moving up 3 positions here. Let's go ahead and look at the daily here. Ethereum up 22.7%. Dogecoin up 11.5%. Avalanche up 15.1%. Uniswap up 22.9%. Yesterday, actually just hit 23. Yesterday, TA Tim live yesterday on his show on Investing Bros entered a Uniswap long and crushed it with that. So shout out to TA Tim. 33% up for Pepe yesterday. Ethereum Classic up 16. Yeah, whatever. Mutable X 10.5%. Any other big movers? Optimism up 19.2 there. So yeah, some big moves yesterday, guys. Lido Dow up 36.1%. Let's get over into the liquidation. Out to dinner and became the main course. So looking here at the economic calendar today, we've got a lot of Fed stuff coming in. Tomorrow though, guys, big one, FOMC minutes. We had my AI assistant yesterday, digital assistant, break down what that meant for us, those FOMC minutes. That's going to be coming out tomorrow at noon, so be watching for that. And then let's go and see what else we got here. Initial jobless claims on Thursday. So the big thing tomorrow, though, that I'm going to be watching, it's going to be right here. It's going to be this NVIDIA after the market closes tomorrow afternoon. NVIDIA is going to have its earnings report. That is going to have a big play on the AI tokens. If you guys remember yesterday on the thumbnail, I was pointing to 2 things. It was Ethereum and NVIDIA. Ethereum has already done its big thing. I'm waiting for NVIDIA to do its big thing. This is the week of those 2. So again, Monday morning thumbnail trader, you could have done well. So let's go and check out this one. No, we'll get into those articles later. That's it. That's the news today, guys. There's your news. Let's jump over and talk about this for a second. So yesterday we went over some of this news that we had here on the ETF, and I said it looked unlikely that it was going to happen because we were at 10%, and then out of nowhere they dropped this announcement. Here, I'm going to go ahead and pull it up here just so people can see what it is. This is just one of them, one of the many. Watcher Guru put out here and said, just in, spot Ethereum ETF approval odds increased to 75% from 25%, according to Bloomberg ETF analyst. The ETF odds have improved up to that. So there's a whole article here on it, but I don't think we need to go into the article. I just wanted to point that out, that we had that news happen yesterday. Is that, what do you guys think? What are your thoughts now? It's kind of changed my opinion on will it be approved, but I still thought that Ethereum was going to pump yesterday based on its support levels that we had. I'll show you all of those that we talked about yesterday, but it has taken that pump that I thought we would have and injected some nitros into it, and now it is just rocketed. Tradefly, your thoughts on this, man? Are we gonna see this thing now?
I mean, the possibilities are increasing, that's for sure. But I mean, it's a news-driven pump for sure. Like, I mean, like you said, it did add a little bit of fuel to the fire, made it push much quicker than we were all anticipating. But yeah, man, I mean, it'd be cool if it does get approved. I think a lot of people were trying to front run it before, and I think that's why ETH kind of pulled back quite a bit, because I think it got as high as about 4K not too long ago. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't know. Is there a big reason for an ETH ETF? That's kind of my biggest thing I'm trying to figure out. Like, what's the big utility there? I guess
It's
just
the
more
second
exposure.
largest. It's the second largest crypto in the space. That's why. That's
Yeah, I mean,
literally
I
all it
get
is.
it, but like, I guess yeah, more exposure. But I don't
Yep.
know.
And if you actually look at what an ETF does, ETFs are typically a basket of things. I actually think that an Ethereum ETF makes more sense than a Bitcoin ETF, because a Bitcoin
Really?
is really only a couple of things. It's got some layer 2 capability through ordinals and runes, and then it's digital gold. Ethereum is the internet and the money of Web3. So I
Yeah.
actually think that there's more of a quote basket and when it comes to Ethereum than there is for Bitcoin. So it actually makes more sense for an ETF, but that's just
Yeah, I guess I
just
just
one
see
man's lonely
yeah,
opinion.
yeah, I see Ethereum. I mean, I guess it definitely has more like utility, like in a practical sense. It's just I see Bitcoin as that store of value. So
Dave Digital, he didn't ask what is ETH's utility. He asked what is the utility of an ETH ETF. He understands the ETH utility. It's like the
all
biggest
good.
utility in the crypto space. Well, I guess there's more on sometimes there's more on Solana and so forth, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
OC, what do you think, man? Are we going to get into are we going to see this thing? Is this thing getting approved this month? I don't know that it's going to happen on the 23rd, but there's some of them pushed to the 31st. We may see it by the end of the month. What do you think?
I don't know, man. Last time I made a prediction about an ETF, it just didn't play it out very nicely on me. But let me just try to, do my opinion. I do believe that we're going to have an ETF. I don't think that it's going to be maybe throughout this week, but it needs to be bounced at least once, right? Bitcoin ETF already did. We already have the approved of ETF, so it should be easier on Ethereum because we already have kind of like the way to go, right? I mean, we can take a look at what happened with Bitcoin and then just build on top of that, but for Ethereum. So I do believe that we're going to be having it soon, although not maybe this week, but very, very soon. It might have been approved. So it could be approved. So yeah, that's what I believe. And I see Ethereum pumping. So I'm really eager to take some profits. I don't know yet, but I really want to take some profits out.
Just pause, breathe. Let's get into the TA first. There's some things going on there, guys. I also think that yesterday some other things. I guess there was another bill that passed. Also, I'm not sure if this is the same one. I don't think it is. T-Shroom, shout out to him. He was talking about it this morning on his show, and he said showed this like technology bill that was passed yesterday. Well, this is another one, I believe, totally separate. It's called the Deploying American Blockchains Act of 2023. Passed the House. This removes the power from the U.S. SEC over crypto. According to this bill, the Secretary of Department of Commerce shall serve as the principal advisor to the president regarding blockchain technology. So this actually changes who actually now advises the executive office when it comes to crypto. And then the other one that I saw it moves things away from the SEC also. The SEC badly losing. And this also came out yesterday on top of all that Ethereum news. So a lot of bullish news this week going on. But let's go ahead and let's jump over into the charts. I want to take a look at what we were talking about yesterday on Ethereum, and then I'll show you guys what I'm seeing because we're getting another move right now, and it is breaking at 3,800. So let's jump in there and let's take a look at that. So yesterday we were talking about this channel, and I said, look, we're at 10%. Excuse me, sorry. Need to drink a legendary aviation coffee here. That's one moment here. Quality, love it. Okay, so looking yesterday here, guys, we talked about this massive level of support that we have just tested continuously on the 50% line here. And I said, look, this by itself is bullish. If we get, and I thought yesterday, and this is what I said yesterday, I said, it is very likely we could come down and retest this again. Excuse me. I said, if we come down and we retest this 50 again, I'm all in at that point on Ethereum, because at this continuous retest that we've had here of the 50 is very bullish, in my opinion. To top it off, we're in a descending channel. And I said, guys, this, at the end of the day, regardless of what happens with the ETF, all the sell-off, $46 million in outflows, $23 million more in outflows if it doesn't get approved, yada, yada, yada. I said, at the end of the day, we are in a bullish pattern. This downward selling pressure has left us in a bullish pattern. And when we break out of it, it's going to be massive. That is what we said yesterday. Well, we never came back and tested the 50, so that one was out the window. However, we did get a change in that sentiment, and a perfect bounce right there on the chart prime dynamic reactor has broken us up to the top of this channel, that channel pumping us directly through the golden pocket, and we are now heading to the platinum pocket. However, Kyle, pause for effect. One thing I want to point out to you guys. You guys know on my Bitcoin chart, I actually have a trend-based fib extension that runs from the all-time low previous cycle to the all-time high of last cycle to the low of this last bear market, and it creates this trend-based fib extension. Well, I did one on Ethereum too, so let's see how that one looks, guys. There you go. We don't get that beautiful 50% Fibonacci line down here as the retest bottom. But when we do that based on what we have, how we built it on Bitcoin, we're actually seeing that right now we are getting test here. That's 2 candles worth of test right now on a new golden pocket from that sequencing. And it is really relevant. If I go over to the Bitcoin, that is what I have on my Bitcoin chart. And you can see just how beautifully that one has played out with the platinum pocket here. So the 786 was our breakout yesterday. We talked about that. We got a breakup, and we are right now, you guys remember that descending channel we had over there? Right there, that one. Look at what's going on with the top of that right now. This nice little flag or pennant or whatever we happen to be making right now. Looks like more like a flag right now. We are testing the top of that. So Bitcoin and Ethereum both looking pretty bullish right now. Both in ranges of new support, but be very careful, because if we do put that low to all-time high to low trend-based fib, we are on a golden pocket right now, and we've had to punch into that on Ethereum in order to be truly bullish, in my opinion. So, Candle Daddy, I knew someone all-time high. Here you go, guys. What do you guys got on your charts? What do you got lined up there to take a look at? TradeFly. We'll go with you first, champ.
Sure. Let's go ahead and take the liquidation heat map here. Looking like there's obviously some liquidity up here. People are taking some shorts after this little hit on resistance at about 72K. So they're going to leave a little liquidity there. And then there's a little at about 68.7. I'm not sure there's much I can really take away from the daily here. Let's zoom out a little bit. A big move up. So let's see here. Yeah, there you go. So your real hot spots are still sitting at about 64.4. That's, I don't think, anywhere close enough to the boat where we'd be concerned about that. If you really look at it from a zoomed out perspective, pretty cool. So I would say a lot of this is going to be, whatever the news or the narrative is of the day. And then we should be able to look at some TA and really be able to kind of hinge our bets on that. So let me go over to Bitcoin here. I was kind of following along on Ethereum with you, but this is what I was looking at yesterday. And the area I was looking at here was this trend line coming down. You got the 2021 high, the value area high, all kind of lining up in one area. And what I said I wanted to see was it to break out and do a little retest. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let me get rid of that. There you go. So that's the 4 hour. Let's go ahead and look at it. You can see a wick came down and retested it, but let's see what it looks like on the 4 hour. Yeah, there you go. So it's pretty much what we were looking for. Breakout, OC's retest, and then for it to take off. And that's pretty much what we got. So where do we go from here? Well, I mean, you got an area of resistance over here about where we're at, and that makes sense, right? Look at how many hits you have right there. Let's go ahead and draw horizontal line. You guys know that I love the horizontal lines. But you got a little bit of a range here. So anywhere from about 71.3 all the way up to about 71.9. Get a range of resistance, all right? And that's pretty clear. So you can see where it was support, and then it's just resistance. Look at how many hits it had. tried to keep it at support, then it broke down, got that retest, and then ultimately you had a big breakdown, right? So that lets me know it's a pretty key area. It's going to be tough for it to break through that area and actually maintain above it. But the only thing between us and an all-time high is really that area of resistance that we're kind of looking at now. You might find a little bit up here at about 72.8, but I think this is your key area at probably about 71.3 again to about 71.8, 71.9. So keep an eye on that. Looks like it is getting a little bit of a rejection there, a little bit of pullback. I wouldn't be surprised to come down and retest this 2021 high as well as the value area high, trend line, all that stuff. That wouldn't surprise me one bit. It being overbought right now, yeah, we had an exponential move up. So it's got to reset. So I wouldn't get too concerned with that. I mean, the 45 degrees down and right, never really a great sign, but this is the hourly. So don't get too wrapped around it. But I think a retest of this area is pretty likely, pretty much in play. That's a big move up, especially a news-driven pump, and it's kind of riding the coattails of Beast. So that's kind of what I'll be looking for in terms of those two areas there.
Nice. OC, what are you seeing today, bro?
Oh, I'm looking at right here at the good Ethereum. So Ethereum Classic. Oh, I'm just kidding. That's not a good team. Everybody knows that Ethereum is not good. No, I'm just kidding. I know. We're breaking through a big support here. And there's something that I do want to bring up also with Ethereum Classic. That's why I pulled it up. But the thing is that we are seeing not the same pump happening, but I mean, a kind of like the same driven thing happening, right? But there's a major key here, guys. And I'm bringing this up just because I've been making the comparison between them both for a long time, right? At this point, we do have enough space to maybe come back down, do the retest, maybe have enough momentum to be inside to the green cloud, and then continue our way up in here. And look at that, all that outcome volume, which is a green, right? Usually that indicates that despite that we have a big resistance here, we can go and still at least holding that position, right? Also, we are above the zero line and we're pretty bullish, but I've been also looking at Ethereum Classic. The important thing on Ethereum Classic is that it's not looking that good. If I just bring up here my support and resistances, you'll see that I'm right against the course in here, right? And I don't have a kind of like any space other than making the next move to the upside, all right? That is dangerous because if this resistance is not breaking like right now, and look at that, we're having that flip of the ribbon happening almost right there. That means that I could be losing that area and going back down at least to this area right here around the 29.17 or around the 30 area. Just be aware of that, guys. If you were hunting on Ethereum Classic, I'm taking profits on Ethereum Classic, and I'm also thinking about getting some out of Ethereum. Just to wrap things up on Bitcoin and then turn back to you guys. I mean, this pump, remember when we talked about one guy just needs to be in the other side of the room, like having a different perspective. Seems like at this point it played out. So I have the Wyckoff pattern here on mine. It was just playing out perfectly. And at this point yesterday, we are hitting the SOS zone. Just for reference, we had it right here at 1 minute 02, or 1 hour? Oh, I don't know what, 31 minutes 09. This is exactly yesterday what I was saying, that the next movement is going to go to the top of the channel. So it seems like we made it already there. Now from there, just like Piper's prediction, I will be calling for maybe a retracement, and then we'll see what happens with that oscillator. So other than that, turning it back to you guys.
Yeah, I absolutely think that some of these levels of support that we just broke through are important retest areas, and that's what I'm going to be watching for, especially with FOMCs coming out tomorrow, the minutes from last FOMC meeting. That's going to cause some risk off, but I do want to talk to you guys. So, you always hear about how the elites own so much of the stock markets and the crypto, and right? That's what we hear all the time. That the retail are the guys that just get beat up because really majority of it is owned by the top 1%. There's actually some new news on that. Check this out. This is from the Kabisi letter yesterday. Said this is incredible. Off-exchange trading volume as percentage of total volume has spiked to a record high of 52%. Volume registered at platforms that match orders for brokerages, a proxy for retail activity, which is like Robinhood, stuff like that, guys. That's what they are referencing here, those types of exchanges, has exceeded the 2021 meme craze of 50%. In other words, retail investors' engagement in U.S. stocks is at its highest in history. U.S. households now own 39% of the $78 trillion stock market and 65% of the mutual funds and ETFs. Retail traders are alive and well. So, very interesting point there, a fact that was brought up by Kabisi Letter, pulling that, and it says gambling spirits are back. What do you guys think of this level here? Like, is this that point in time that wealth is transferred to from one class to another? I think it possibly is. Tradefly shakes his head no, but I think it possibly is. I think that if the markets continue to pump, now here's the thing, there's a catch to it, there's a caveat. If the markets continue to pump, you're going to have a lot of money made in the retail sector that did not exist in middle class America previously. The big question is, will they sell it when they're supposed to? And that's going to be the key to them holding all of that wealth they gain. But Tradefly, you have an opposing thought, and I'd love to hear it. Go for it.
Yeah, no, I 100% do not think there's going to be a transfer of wealth. I mean, it almost feels like the government has set it up so that like that's impossible. But I mean, look at inflation. Like, do you feel more wealthy right now besides the fact that, you're retired and you have a paycheck coming in and all is well in your house? But in
I
terms
feel
of your
wealthier
actual,
if I was based on just income, just dollars. No, I do not feel wealthier. I feel like I'm actually spending more than what I used to, and I'm making less than I used to because I retired, right? But what I will point out is that I am wealthier today than I was in 2020, 2019, 2018,
that's only because
because of
you're
my
smart.
investments. Because of my
Yeah,
investments. And that's what I'm
right.
saying. These investments are this many households, 39% of US households holding stocks, and 65% of 30 households owning 39% of the stock market, and then 65% of households owning 65% of mutual funds and ETFs. I do think that if they are smart money and not dumb money that are buying this stuff, and they take their profits when they need to take their profits, or just hodl, because hodling has proven to play out year over year over year in stocks and crypto. So if that is the case, I do think that you will see a influx of growth back to middle class. And in the previous years, we've lost a lot of middle class that have slipped down into the lower income area. So that middle income area could be growing off of this, is my opinion. And I do think that is a transfer of wealth, people moving up, taking a little bit of that money that may be sitting in the upper tier and pulling it back down into the lower middle class and the upper lower class for incomes and moving them up into space. It's just,
Yeah, I feel like there was a contrarian statistic that just came out saying the top 1% were getting wealthier. Like, I swear, like that just came out like a few months ago.
well, they are, but
So
if you got growth coming in off of these stock markets and ETFs and mutual funds and all of this, that money is coming from the upper tier. That is not coming. They're not taking low income money to grow. It's still a trickle effect of that upper
yeah,
class
I w-
money
I
that's
would
growing.
challenge
So.
that. Like, is our growth keeping up at the same rate as the wealthiest individuals? And I would challenge you, and I would
Oh,
say
no, no, no.
probably,
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that
yeah,
the lower
yeah,
middle class and middle class is getting an influx of money from their investments. So, and that money's coming from the upper class. That money's coming from someone up above them. So,
yeah. Eh, who knows, man? All
look,
I
just
know
because you
is,
took championship in the trade wars, okay.
oh no, no. Hey, you know what? Randy kept
The
saying the
cream
same
of the
thing.
crop. Nobody does it better.
Just saying. He's
Just
just
saying.
saying.
I'm
All
just
right.
saying. I'm just saying. Yeah,
No,
man.
much
I
love,
don't know.
man.
I just take my personal not even experience. What I'm experiencing like right now, what's happening. I know that I make more money, yet I can't save more money than I used to be able to save. And that is where I'm like, okay, something's just not right here. So that's what my concern. And yeah, I'm still invested. I've always been invested, but I don't know.
My big concern is what, like I was saying, are they going to be able to take profits the way that they should? And Mr. J said it best. They're just going to be able to rug us harder, and that's going to be the thing that you have to dodge. You're gonna have to matrix that stuff. Get out of the way of it and take those profits, guys. So no one's ever gone broke taking profit. That's what I've always said. So OC, your thoughts on this? 39% of households owning the stock market and 65% of households owning mutual funds and ETFs. Is this a transfer of wealth? Are they taking small little scrape off portions off of the upper money amount and growing? I think they're growing. At the very least, the middle class is growing off of this. So, your thoughts?
Absolutely, and I do completely agree with you 100%, but I also agree with TradeFly. But that is because that is the model that we are in with. I mean, remember that we talk about a dripping model, right? Where the richer get richer, and by dripping their wealth, I mean, the more they get, the more they can drip, even if they are getting farther apart from us, right? From all of the retail and from all of the like middle class Joes that like we are, right? So that means like they might be just increasing in I don't know 100%, 120% their gains, and we just might getting that wealth transfer from whatever they meet that 120, and we were just getting maybe a 15% out of that. So you can see that basic difference, right? So they're growing into an exponential growth, and absolutely it needs to be a transfer of wealth, because if not, we'll be just living kind of like in a failed state, right? Or on a disguised socialism, because everybody will just be, or everything will be just concentrated on the top without transfer of wealth. So I do believe that we need to make the most out of this. And I also want to leverage in with crypto and what has been happening with GameStop and this kitty this kitty guy that I mean are starting to make people believe back in themselves and in the power of retail. So you mentioned this, Art Piper, and I do strongly agree, which is middle class. And I mean, all of the below the pyramid, we are much greater together. Like we are unstoppable. And it only needs a fraction of us to start moving things our way. The only thing is that we need to, for once, just aim at the same direction and pull the trigger at the same time. Because think it this way, where are these guys getting their money from? If you trace that money, who works for that or who works the hardest for that, it is all the middle class, right? Lower middle class, middle class, and higher middle class. And then that wealth is spent to the rich, right? And then, I mean, so we all are sustaining this pyramid. So just food for thought. And yeah, I agree with both of you guys, but I also believe that it's just the system is built to do that regularly.
Yeah, shout out to Teresa Wade, guys. That is my wife's stepmother. That's family there. I got all kinds of family coming into the chat today, so shout out to you, Terry. Glad to see you in here. Let's jump over here and talk about this news article real fast, because it's not just the ETF for Ethereum coming out, possible approval coming up. That has got some price action. It's also these ETH options calls, guys, and there's some ETH options calls right now that you guys need to know about. Taking a look here, Ethereum price soars on spot ETF rumor as we discussed. But how are the ETH options markets positioned right now? And it says if we get down here, I just want to jump past all of this because we know what happened with the ETF stuff. Let's get into this though. Analyzing the impact on the upcoming $3 billion in ETH options expiring. The impending decision on spot ETF has significantly heightened interest in the weekly and monthly ETH options expiries. At Deribit, a leading derivatives exchange, Ether options open interest for May 24th is recorded to be at $867 million, while from May 31st, it reaches an impressive $3.22 billion. In comparison, CME's monthly ETH options open interest stands at just $259 million, OKX at $229 million. So the call to put ratio heavily favors the call buy options, guys, indicating that traders have been more active in purchasing them than selling them now. So if Ether's price stays above 3,600 on May 24th, at 8 a.m. UTC, just so you're tracking, only $440,000 of the put instruments will be involved in the expiration. Essentially, a right to sell ETH at $3,400 or $3,500 becomes irrelevant if the price is above those levels, right? Meanwhile, the holders of call options up to $3,600 will exercise their right, securing the price difference. So calls, you call up, you put down, right? So a call is a buy, a put is a sell. This scenario results in a substantial $397 million in open interest favoring buy options. We'll just go ahead and make this clear. Buy options if ETH remains above 3,600. So the stakes are even higher for the monthly ETH expiration on May 31st, as 97% of the put, that is the sell options, are priced at 3,600 or lower, rendering them worthless if Ether's price exceeds that threshold. And then to break it all out here, the final outcome will be likely far from the 3.2 billion open interest. It will significantly favor the call options, the buy options. For instance, if Ether's price reaches $4,550 on May 31st, the net open interest will favor those buy options by 1.292 billion. Even at $4,050, the difference remains favorable to the call options by 1.44 billion. Ultimately, Ether's unexpected 18% increase took options traders by surprise, setting the stage for a substantial benefit to bullish strategies. These profits are likely to be reinvested to maintain a positive momentum to the upside. So, you guys can see $3.22 billion. I mean, the amount of money that takes place in these options calls, is substantial, because that is where traditional finance investors like to play at. They don't really do the things that we do, buying on Coinbase and hodling in a wallet. These guys are playing in these major institutions, and $3.22 billion in ETH options is amazingly a big amount of money just to be on a trade. And so you can see that as these profits take, they will be picking up more ETH, and the outcome is that we could see a continuation of positive momentum based strictly on the gains that are made, going back and flowing back in, re-injecting for even more move to the upside. That price target again, $4,050 by May 31st on Ethereum for this. So thoughts on this, guys? How do you guys think this plays out? If the ETF gets approved, how does this look for ETH? Like, does this add another nitro kick into the pump off the ETF news? And what do you think about the amount down there, $3,600 being that call, being that put option number that it needs to be below? Do you think that that's where we head if the ETF does not get approved? We'll go with OC first on this one.
Well, I believe that the ETF doesn't get approved. I do believe that we're going to have a big retracement, right? I mean, and it's going to happen exactly the same as we have seen on Bitcoin. So by the rumors, sell the news, right? So no matter what, I do believe that we're going to see a sell-off. So even if the ETF gets approved, nonetheless, we could be seeing a big pump and then a big retracement after what we're seeing right now. So what I'm doing at this point is I will be taking some profits out of the table. I'm thinking something around 30% out, and that is just to secure some profits. Because remember, just like Piper mentioned, nobody goes broke taking profit, right? So, I mean, it's just a smart move to always pay yourself. And depending on what happens, well, you still have some exposure. And also, I do have Ethereum for the long run. So this thing is not being over yet. Just like when I bought Bitcoin, then the ETF got approved, and we just also Bitcoin just cracked down or dropped down all the way to what was it? Something like 60 something K. All the way to 60K 500. So I mean, that is still a possibility. So if I take 30% out right now, I might be having the opportunity to reinvest for cheaper. So if it just never comes back down to this area, that's fine. I pay myself. I'm still in a half exposure. But absolutely, we'll see a major massive money just changing places as the sentiment changes throughout the possible approval.
Nice. Blackie Chan said a 4.5K ETH is a 2.5x for him. Tradefly, your thoughts on this, and then let's jump into some charts. OC, we're going to put you up in some altcoins first, so get something ready. Tradefly, your thoughts on this ETH expiration for these calls and puts coming in May 24th and May 31st.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about billions of dollars, that's definitely going to have an impact on the market. Reallocation into ETH also makes sense with some of those profits, or they may shift it somewhere else. You never know. But yeah, it's always going to have an impact, and I kind of agree with what OC is saying as well. Hey, like you can expect probably a pullback once the actual ETH approval happens. You'll probably have a quick little jump up, and then you're going to have that pullback where people were front running the ETH. ETF, same thing, like you said with Bitcoin, had what, about 20% pullback, but then after that we set an all-time high. So it's I would probably maybe side more on the with maybe setting a stop loss under a significant support area that you think that it could pull back to, and then maybe ride it out a little bit and see if history doesn't repeat itself and we get an all-time high with ETH, because that's there. That opportunity is there, but you can be conservative and take profits as well. I'm not against that. But maybe a little degen in you might set a stop loss and let it ride a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
Just a little degen action. Hey guys, don't forget to follow us all on X over here. We got everybody's X over here. You can follow all those people. No, I think at the end of the day, guys, what we're looking at here is there's going to be high volatility. I definitely think that's what we're going to see between now and the end of the month. We got about 9 days left in the month, 3 days until that 24th, May 24th date. And then the big one, the $3.22 billion total, May 31st, coming up in about 10 days. So I definitely think we're going to see a lot of heavy volatility, especially with the ETS sprinkled in the middle there. If you little meme there for you, sprinkled in the middle with a little bit of ETF, and I think we're going to be seeing that hit. We got render and cash requested here in the chat, and we're going to go ahead and start into a little bit of TA. We got about 18 minutes right now, 17 minutes, something like that. We're going to get into these alts, and then I do have one good hopium news story at the end for you to, like we need any more hopium today. So let's get into OC's chart.
Absolutely. So we are on Ethereum, but I want to go back and watch before we move on into what has ringing for me. So May 20th, BNB, and also May 15th, Solana. So let's start with Solana, because right now, remember, let's see, May 15th, and it was crossing the 155 area, right? So where's the 155 area? It's right here at the breakout of the falling wedge. So it's not about the breakout, it's about the beautiful retest, and off we go, making and trickling up, right? So let me just clean this up so we can see we are hitting into major support. Also, if I bring on my money flow POC, you see that depending on how I zoom, the money flow POC is somewhere around here. Also, if I zoom out a little bit, and in case this area and wait for my volume to build up, we'll see that we are into a rejection area. Where's my not rejection area, or my bouncing area, somewhere around here, with smart money being all the way here. So I am expecting a possible retracement. All right. So it's not that I'm going to be just abandoning Solana. I'm going to be drawing this trend line here. And if this trend line gets broken, I will be looking not for a short at this point, but for a possible re-entry right here, really close between this area here and the big support, because between those two areas, what do I have? Our first low volume green number, big output, a smart money area. So what I'm going to be looking for is for the flip of the ribbon up here or down here with a big support if I fail this trend line. So that's what I'm looking for Solana. So I am taking some profits out of this trade, and yeah, let me throw it back to you guys, and on the next one I'll take BNB.
All right, I got Caspa, Tradefly. We're going to kick it over to you, see what you got for us today. Render, perfect. You on it, man. That's why you the champ, dog.
Nah, the champ is tired, man. The champ is tired. Cool. Yeah, so looking at Render. So I went back, I went to check the portfolio because render is one of the assets that we actually invested in. It is actually the worst performing out of all of them. The highest is actually Bonk at 47%. ETH is obviously doing well, Bitcoin doing well, but render was the worst. It's down 1 point something percent. So kind of interesting, but that also gives you like a little bit of pause, a little bit of caution when you start talking about potentially going long on render given the current conditions. And then when you go to the charts, you're like, hey, let's kind of look at it, see where we're at on the charts. Well, we're at a very obvious area of resistance. You can see it about 11.422 or the 0.236. There is resistance there, and that kind of aligns with this previous range as well. But looking at it, the entry here, like where the potential entry was look how close the point of control is to the value area low. That's pretty interesting, right? Because there's a lot of volume down here. But that was the potential entry there at about 9.9. I missed that, obviously. And then, we could come back down here. It looks like I'd probably move this up probably a little bit just to kind of align with where we found resistance. What you would like to see if the price continues to pull back. I mean, ultimately, you'd like to see it stay on the top side of the value area high. I don't think it's going to do that. I think it's more likely to pull back down to about $10.64 or so, find some support there. And that's where you would like to see, as long as you get some support, then you could be looking for a continuation up and right for another test of this area at 11.4. Just coming down to the prime oscillator, you see it's overbought. You're getting the... Is this the goose head that the notorious OC goose head we have here? Looks like that is bending over. Basically, you need it to reset. So you want to see a trend up and right with the oscillator. So I would look for this area for support. Hopefully it holds up. That could be a potential scalp intraday type trade. But that's all dependent on the market continuing its trajectory up and right as well. Because like I said, render has not been performing as well as everything else. Let's zoom out though. So kind of a bearish take on render, even though I know ultimately we're not super bearish on render. Yeah, it's still bullish structure, right? Like if you're looking at it, remember there was a couple, I think it was Manta, you looked at the daily, it looked totally different, right? The dynamic reactor was red. It was below the dynamic reactor. This is different, right? You see the trend is still going up and right. There's a series of higher lows. So your macro perspective of render is still bullish. I'm just not super bullish in the smaller time frames right now. I would like to see it break out of this area right here. This would change things for me. We break out of $11.42. We get that, comeback retest. The same thing that I draw over and over again. I would love to see that. That's kind of what I would look for. And I'm going to show you a little example of that just real quick before I move on, because it plays out a lot. It played out with Bitcoin. I just showed you that earlier. Let's look at AVAX. All right. So I was looking at this chart, kind of the background, and there you go. Right click first, Dan. You'll get it. All right. But this is what I was looking at. All right. I'd like to see it break this area here, which is the point of control. Broke the area, came down, retest. We also have the dynamic reactor in the same area, showing you a little bit of confluence there. Got that retest, and then ultimately it moved up, and then it got rejected a little. No, actually didn't really get rejected. It moved right through that area of resistance. So now you like to see almost this pattern move up to here. That's what you would like to see now. So, the old OC retest, it plays out quite a bit. Just want to show you guys that.
Sweet. Let's jump over to Caspa here. And yeah, you're right. His retest, don't trade the breakout, trade the retest. That's what he always does. So we did have a question here from Del, DHE double L. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. My apologies. But he said, doesn't Grayscale have an ETF, an ETH trust? Wouldn't they sell off just like they did GBTC? And so, yes, they do have that. But according to Chat GPT, I asked it some questions, getting that AI answer in here. They said that there is an option that they have of doing a conversion, which is a little bit different. Let me pull it over here just so I can make sure I get this. It says, if a ETH spot ETF gets approved, it's plausible that Grayscale could take a similar approach with their Ethereum trust. They might opt to convert the trust into an ETF rather than selling off, though. This would allow Grayscale to continue managing the assets under the new, potentially more attractive ETF structure. So they could just convert it over and not have to sell off as much. Remember, there's a much larger market cap in Bitcoin with a lot less availability. So they had to move out of one into the other, where with ETH, there's a lot more available tokens on the market. And so they can buy as they're bringing in and selling off, more of an even sell off where there's not a supply shock of the ETH token like there is Bitcoin. So it will play out a little bit differently, or could, I should say. Let's jump over into Caspa. And let's take a look and see what we're seeing on CAS. Guys, we were talking here last week. I said anytime we hit the 11.2 cent range, I think is a prime buying area. I said not financial advice, but if you go back and look historically, especially if we put this on the daily, you'll see that 11.2 has been a prime area to buy. That is this line right here. So even if you look down here at the 9.5, we did hit back there in January time period. But since then, this has been the line, the phase 5 golden pocket right there has been a prime buying area. And just last week, we hit that again. Up right now about from that bottom there. Let's go from there to the top of this was about 20%. Even right now, we're at 16.8. This was our resistance area. You can see here yesterday, we did have a lot of fighting here to get into our T box there. Shout out to TA Tim over at Investing Bros. That little range box right there, resistance area. We had a previous rejection in it, and now we had a lot of fight to get into it yesterday. Now we are retesting it, and you can see if I bring this in a little bit closer that we wicked down into it, and we're closing a candle body above it currently on the current candles. So right now we do have a lot of oversold. Overbought, I should say, at the top here that we're starting to trigger on. But we had that back here too, and we consolidated to cool it off, then came up, then we did the pullback. If we can get the same thing going here, where this, because you can see that we're starting to get another little move there on that ribbon. Let me get rid of the white Mexican spaghetti here. There you go. You can see we're starting to get this little move here. We had a duck head and it looks like a continuation. I think we could see a continuation back up here to the phase 7 golden pocket at 14.5 before we get that pullback, which would then give us a retest of support at 12.8 cents. This would be the move, very similar to what we had back here where it continued up and then came down. That would be from here continuing up, then coming down to this range right here for support. And that's what I'm watching for on Casper right now, guys. If we can get that continuation like we've seen previously and history repeats, we got a very strong move for Casper continuing to the upside here. OC, let's kick it over to you and see what you got, bro.
Absolutely. So yesterday I was showing you guys that I was taking some profits on BNB. I want to touch back on that one because I think it's important to look at what happened there. So first things first, let's take a look at the imaging here. And I was taking some profits right at this area, 580. All right. So what happened there? It moved up. In fact, I was okay with that one. And that was kind of like the plan of it, not to miss the pump, but to prevent for a further movement. And let me show you here. So basically, I was selling here part of my holdings on Binance. Why? Because Bitcoin, and let me go back to this chart here, was about to be breaking here or retracing, right? Why? Because we were right at this area faking out to the downside. Despite the odds were pointing to the upside, I mean, you can see this beautiful movement and we see something else. Well, I know it's Pepe, but I mean, along with other coins that they just completely blew, like Ethereum, like Pepe, like some other things, BNB, it is just not that, it wasn't that big of a deal, right? So then why did I sold? Just in case we had that further fake out and we had a quick week to grab liquidity, I did had some open orders right down here. So now what? Well, at this point, we're on big resistance. Also, remember what's up next on the Wyckoff theory, the LPS retracement. Sorry, the SOS retracement. All right, so we could be seeing a little retracement here. You can see that I am expecting at the worst case scenario retracement somewhere around to 68K. So that could impact a BNB harder than we could be expecting. So when Bitcoin pumped, Binance didn't move that much. If Bitcoin dumps, well, then Binance might be moving fast. All right. So my entry points for the first one, it is going to be somewhere around here for the retracement 505.85, and the next one it's still at 540. Just in case you're wondering, what happens if we break out? If we break out, I wait for the retest. I wait for the flip of the ribbon. On the flip of the ribbon on the support, I aim to the next big resistance. So as you can see, guys, I kept exposure. I paid myself, and I'm giving myself the opportunity with my with the money that I just paid myself with to buy cheaper BNB if that is the case. So just following on that strategy, guys, and yeah, turning it back to you.
Sweet. Awesome. Here we go, TradeFly. What you got for us, bro?
Yeah, just looking at Bonk right now, I was talking about that a little bit. That is the highest performing asset we have in the portfolio right now. So I wanted to take a look, see where we're at. It looks like we are definitely in an area of resistance, just coming back left on the chart. I want to pull up the dynamic support and resistance zone, see if there's a load for me. It's being a little bit slow right now. So we'll see if it actually loads. Maybe it'll validate or invalidate what I'm talking about here. But overall trend, obviously bullish. We did have a pretty significant pullback from its high, but then it is looking like it wants to maintain this trend up and right. So we did have a support level that we had identified in there, but yeah, just looking at it right now, I'd be very careful with Bonk. If you're in the trade, that's all good. I wouldn't, if you're long and you're hodling, all good, wouldn't be overly concerned. If it's a short, like, hey, you got into the trade yesterday, then you might be careful here. You are at an area of resistance. I'm not saying the exit or anything, but just letting you know, you are at an area of resistance here. I would not be surprised at some point here to actually see it come back and retest this area. Me, I'm more of a swing trader, so I do like to let the price action come to me. So this would be an area that I would probably set an alert on. I'd be a little more interested in this area here. If it pulls back and retests this area and flips what was resistance into support, that would kind of be what I would look for personally. You are getting into an overbought situation on the daily, which means it is a little bit stronger. But if you are looking at the prime score and the prophecy, all is well. But my personal bias would be to form some sort of range or consolidation in this area right here between this area of resistance, and hopefully they flip this into an area of support. So haven't really gotten confirmation of that yet, but that's kind of what I'm looking at on Bonk. Let me go ahead and just measure from here to there. Yeah, so about 15%. So
Nice.
that's a significant little move there. But yeah,
Yep.
that's what I'm looking at for Bonk. And that
Cool.
is, just give you some prices, is going to be a bunch of zeros, 2 8s, and then top side is going to be a bunch of zeros and 3 4.
Bunch of zeros and 3 4. Maybe we'll remove one of those one of these days.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So this is your hopium for the day. We're going to leave you with a little bit of Bitcoin hopium. Hope I don't hit the microphone again. There we go. Looking here, guys, we have this moving averages. These two moving averages here that I'm showing are the 12-hour 50 and 100, and we've had a golden cross. This article that I'm getting ready to talk about here talks about on the 7th. It came out on the 17th. The 18th is when this happened, okay? So we were literally right here at this level on the 12-hour when this article was talking about this, but I want to show you guys what happened before. You may go, you may look at it and go, it's not a huge deal, but let's talk about what happened last time we had this set up. Bitcoin preps golden cross, which last sparked a 170% Bitcoin price gain. And I'm just going to jump down here real fast because we're at the bottom of the hour right now. This is according to this golden cross here. Bitcoin is imminent. He told followers in part of one of his latest posts, formerly on X, that he is somebody. I'm trying to do this quickly. Anyway, a person said, it's Mustache. That's it. Highlighting two trends in particular. He said, golden cross occurs when a shorter term moving averages crosses a longer term. And that's what we have right there. You can see that's what he's talking about right there, May 2024. Last time it happened, October 2023. The last bullish cross was over 6 months ago. Bitcoin has risen 170% since then. Fellow trader Titan of Crypto suggested that the Ichimoku Cloud indicator may copy that trend, and Bitcoin seems to be repeating the same pattern from early 2024, giving that move again 170%. This time it was a 62% on that other indicator. So, guys, we may be getting ready to see Bitcoin do a whole nother move and may have already started into it with this most recent pump. Remember, we are at resistances right now, but those key resistance areas may have very insignificant pullbacks for retest on support. So TradeFly OC, we're at the bottom of the hour. Go ahead and walk us out of here before we head out and the alumni go crash Randy Hipper's party. So TradeFly, why don't you go first, champ?
Hey, yeah, as always, it's great mixing it up with you guys in chat. I love being here. I am a little tired this morning, so sorry, got a little bit of a foggy brain going on. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great day. I really appreciate the support. OC, my man, it was a pleasure being on the show with you. And yeah, it's been an awesome friendship we've built. So super, super cool. But I do have an exit song that I want to play. So get ready to be demonetized. You're welcome, Michael.
That's all right, man. You can demonetize me. I don't care. Yeah. We're not here for the money. We're here for the knowledge. So, what we drop in knowledge, we'll make up in profit. So, OC, what do you got for the people, man?
Just want to say, guys, thanks so much for joining. And I just want to leave that like button to your, discretion. If you feel like we're providing some value, give us a heads up to give us a likes. Today I'm going to be pushing any fantastic stories because yesterday, guys, because of your like buttons, remember, I was telling you, if you click that like button, one of us will be making it as a champion. And here we got it. The champion on Army. Oh my God, come on.
Piper Academy.
Piper Academy. So yeah, I was thinking
the name of the show you are on is Piper Academy.
Piper Academy.
All right, guys.
And this friends are your two finalists of Trading Wars.
Right there. Speaking of Trading Wars, the show that is on is called Crypto Wars, and I'm going to be the guest on there today. It's Fundamentals Tuesday, so I'll be over there with Crypto Keeper at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come join us. Be following me on X so that you can get notified because I'll be dropping it over there for that show, letting you guys know. But right now, guys, it's time to head over to Randy Hipper's show. Just stay tuned. It's going to automatically send us right over there to our frat house mom. It's time for the alumni to go crash her party, guys. We'll catch you here tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, bringing you guys the news, the charts, and the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge because knowledge is profit, guys. Trade safe. And as always, use a stop loss.
I don't know what they keep telling me. I don't know what they keep telling me. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. Ain't no school like Piper Academy. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. I know you hungry for knowledge, that's profit appetite. Classes in session, this for the Army Piper acolytes. Trade flag at the soul, train ready. What a line from OCI, form a Mexican spaghetti. Yo, crunch crypto with a deep dive to reject dime. And if you like the visual powered by Car Prime, then you were part of that alumni, that's all spine. But if you have step, fall back to offline. We'll keep that front line covered, even when we're dead and gone. We'll find a way to keep going, cause we gon' keep on rolling after wheels fall low. Sound off to get with them, the ZTS rhythm. Rip it, Alexandra.
Yeah, that's my alumni, you know what I mean?
That was awesome, dude!